It was a day like any other, or so everyone thought. Who would know that by the end of this day, the disciples, the greatest team ever assembled, would learn how to please God by following two simple plays. The scene was all too common for the disciples. The book was Matthew, the chapter number was 22, and the verses were 34 through 40. They were facing down two of their toughest opponents, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. These opponents were trying to trap Jesus with a series of questions. The Sadducees were up first. They came at Jesus with a doozy of a question, but Jesus answered it without breaking a sweat. The Sadducees were silent. With the Sadducees out, it was now the Pharisees' turn to try and stop Jesus in his tracks. They huddled, strategized, and planned, and then sent their star player, an expert in the religious law, into the game. This man was sneaky, and his question was designed to trap Jesus. He asked,
"Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law of Moses?"
This was indeed a difficult question. After all, the law of Moses was not just limited to 10 commandments, but 5 entire books. There were laws about worship, laws about money, laws about land, laws about clothes, even laws about when you could take a day off. To make a long story short, there were plenty of laws to choose from. The Pharisees were hoping that Jesus would say that these laws weren't important, and then he would surely get into trouble. For anyone else, this would have been a blow from which you could never recover. But it wasn't just anyone else. This was Jesus, the Son of God. Without missing a beat, Jesus replied,
"You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments."
Simply amazing! Jesus summed up the entire law and the prophets in two simple, easy-to-understand statements. Now the people could play the game of life fairly, following these two simple plays. What's true then is true today. These two simple plays apply to every aspect of your life, whether it's at church, worshiping God, or at home, helping your sister with her homework. Maybe it's playing sports and following the rules. Or perhaps it's at school, giving your friend a part of your sandwich. We should always follow these two simple plays.
You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself.
By following these two plays, we will live the life that God wants us to live, and we will play the game of life with excellence.